What's up, YouTube? Good morning. It is a beautiful Monday. I'm on a little walk before the workday. Thought I would try out the new mic, try out this style, see if that works for doing a video. Um, my name is Chris. I go by Whoopie Boy on Instagram and YouTube, and I run a Pokemon business. I've been in the hobby for 6 years now. Came back in 2020. Um, I'm 32, will be 33 this year, so I was 6 in 1999. Like so many people my age, fell in love with Pokemon, um, stayed active in the hobby through Neo Destiny as a kid. Actually, my kind of favorite childhood hobby moment was me and my brother. Uh, we went into a sports authority, bought one Neo Destiny pack, and pulled a Shining Charizard, which to this day remains my favorite card because of that memory. But left the hobby like almost everyone else did towards the end of the WotC era. Went to high school, went to college, you know, did early career stuff, got a corporate job, and came back to the childhood binder around COVID. Um, Jumped back in the Vivid Voltage Shining Fates era, which was fun. Thinking back to it, I had no idea what I was doing, but wanted to engage with Pokemon, figure out what was fun. Was it collecting? Was it flipping? Was it grading? Um, Thought I could make a bunch of money from it. I would buy booster boxes, and I had no idea what MSRP was. I had no idea what was going on. Um, I I remember I would buy Vivid Voltage booster boxes for $250, whatever the market price was, the hyped price, and because that was a lot of money for me, I would open 9 packs a week every Friday. That was my hobby treat that my wife would let me get away with, and you know that's how I could stretch a $250 booster box for 4 weeks. Um, I made every early hobby mistake that you could make. I overpaid for packs, opened too much product. Um, I didn't know how to sell well. I fell for FOMO, fell for hype. I, bought the chase card straight out the gate because I just wanted it, and then I would fire sell it a few weeks later because I got bored of it. Um, Went back to vintage, started buying graded cards, thinking that was going to be a good investment. That was going to go up because that's what all the YouTube hype was at the time. And then just started getting a feel for what I actually was interested in, what was fun versus what was just me trying to chase speculation, gambling, hype, you name it. So thankfully, got my real lesson in the hobby in 2021, 2022, and thankfully did not quit, didn't leave the space, kept learning, um, took the YouTube advice from channels like Catch 'em All Collectibles, channels like Pokenomics, joined the Pokenomics Patreon, um, and started really learning how to not just make Pokemon a a fun little very expensive hobby, but actually make it a business, make it something that could make money and potentially make a lot of money. Started grading for the first time in late 2022. Um, I didn't grade a single card for the first 3 or 4 years that I was back in the hobby. Um, and grading really changed the game for me. Um, and fast forward 3 years, and I've just continued to compound the the business knowledge, the gains in the hobby. Um, I've taken no money out of the business, and I I committed to in 2023 starting to track business P&L results with a $5,000 seed, um, just to see, hey, this is the bankroll. I think I know what I'm doing now. Can we make this an actual business? And today, the bankroll is north of $200,000, which is nuts. Um, I've been very lucky because the markets continue to boom while while I've been active, um, and I'm continuing to learn as much as I can, stay humble, understand I need to grind, and um, not getting discouraged when I take losses. Just all the business learnings that the goats of of the space preach. Um, so I'm at a point now where I could potentially see Pokemon uh, becoming a full time job someday, and I'm starting this channel, starting to play around with doing YouTube in whatever way that works for my calendar, for my day, to start to document the journey from where I am now to hopefully a a full time Pokemon business income that supports um, me, my family. I have a wife and 2 kids. I have a mortgage. I live in the suburbs of Atlanta. Cost of living is going up as fast as it is everywhere, and um, you know I'm I want to share as much as I can about the decisions that I'm making in my business to hit my goals, and so hopefully that's valuable, uh, and hopefully it's somewhat entertaining to follow along and just to see what I'm doing. And I'll share thoughts on the market. I'll share thoughts on plays that I'm making. I will try to provide as much value for you guys as I possibly can. So one other reason why I'm just so focused on this now and so interested in going full time Pokemon, and um, just trying to lock in as much as I can is, you know it's July 2026, and this year has been insane for the Pokemon space, for my business. Um, to put it into perspective, I'm pursuing Pokemon on the side. I have a full time 9 to 5 corporate job that's really more like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Um, And, I have a very good job. I am not complaining at all. I'm super thankful that I have a job that has health insurance. I have a job that pays my bills, allows me to save. Like it's a, it's a job that, you know, checks all of the boxes in terms of living the American dream. But at the same time, I've been working my whole life to get into this job, get into this career path. I work in corporate finance for a large multi-billion-dollar company, and I worked super hard in high school to get the grades, to get into the right college, to then spend tens of thousands of dollars, if not more, on tuition, to work my face off in 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 college, to uh, get that first job, you know, to then work late nights, weekends, um, and take crap from bosses, and do long commutes into the city there and back, um, to get that promotion, to get that raise, to you know compound over 10 years to where I am now. Again, it's a good job. um, Still grinding, working super hard, trying to please bosses, and um, get to the next rung, because that's what everyone says you should do, while also juggling wife and kids, um, and starting to kind of burn out, starting to hit the point where my my bosses are like, well, you need more experience. We need to see more. We need you to work harder to get to the next rung for us to, champion you, um, for your career to grow from here. Meanwhile, in Pokemon, I'm in the first 6 months of 2026. I made 3 times the amount of income from my Pokemon business as my full time corporate job in 6 months, which is nuts. Um, it still boggles the mind how profitable 2026 has been for me, and it's really waking me up to just the reality that like the normal conveyor belt corporate ladder path just may not be the most plus EV path in life for me. Uh, so we're gonna figure it out. Um, I'm I'm hopeful that you know the market continues to do what it's doing, and I'm working hard to try to figure out how to keep the business booming the way that it is. If the market cools down or busts, I'm going to try to make it future proof, and we're going to see where it goes. Um, I find that um, when I'm working late for my corporate job, I you know dread it. When I'm working late for my Pokemon business, I'm having a ton of fun, and that's a signal to me that um, I need to lean into that. I need to figure out how to do that more, how to make that work for me more. Um, as you can tell, I'm not a big YouTube guy. I'm a longtime watcher of all the YouTube channels. This is my first foray into actually creating content, so um, give me a little bit of grace. But I'm going to try to keep the videos from rambling too much, trying to keep it focused on what am I doing in my business every day to generate the amount of profit that I am making, um, and how am I laying the groundwork to go full time at some point. So I'm gonna walk through all of that. In future videos, I'm gonna try to share, these are my short, medium, long term goals. This is what would need to happen for me to go full time. Yeah, I'm excited. So please feel free to reach out, like, subscribe, comment. I will see you guys on the next one. Cheers.